Okay, you are running.
This week's Safety Toolbox talk is on recognizing a hazard. Think about what we do for a living. Some of us are carpenters, laborers, bricklayers, cement finishers. What are we doing today and how can it hurt me? When you get out of your vehicle and you're walking on a job site and your superintendent gives you a job, such as this one here where you're working in a boom lift on uneven terrain can tip over, you can get hurt, you can get tossed out of it. Obviously we're supposed to be trained on it and we're supposed to be tied off in it. But this is a very dangerous task that we're looking at. It's no different than a deep excavation on a job site requiring a trench shield. And you're walking up on them tradesmen and they're not using a trench shield and they're in a 14-foot hole making a connection. We see a lot of hazards on the project and a lot of times we're not seeing it and saying something. This week, let's talk about the hazards associated with our job. Whether we're doing rooftop rigging for a suspended board and we're on that leading edge and we need to be tied off, or we're using a Baker scaffold, a ladder even. 20% of all of the falls in this country annually are off of a ladder. Let's take a look at your tools. Have you ever seen anybody wedge back the guard of a skill saw or a chop saw so that that blade is going around freely, and then you hear about somebody's wrist or fingers getting caught up in that thing because of the unprotected guard? There are a lot of hazards associated with what we do. So let's ask ourselves a few questions. Our handy-dandy text for this week. What can go wrong today on my job site? What are the consequences to me, my co-workers, my company, and my family? How could this have happened? Did we do our morning huddle? Did the superintendent attend a safety pre-construction meeting to understand the scope and the hazards associated with the scope so that we could administer them out, engineer them out? And what are the contributing factors? In a root cause investigation that I typically do for all of our injuries, there are typically 7 line items that lead up to an injury. Whether it's an administrative control failure, an engineering control failure, a personal protective equipment failure, hard hat, safety glasses, high-vis vests, and you got struck by a vehicle not wearing this stuff, or you got something in your eye not wearing your safety glasses. And then finally, what are we doing today? How can it hurt me? And how do I protect myself? This should all be discussed and documented in our morning huddles daily. This is a Berglund requirement typically done on Procore. Let's have a safe day. Let's have a safe week.